Good morning. Thank you all for joining us today. I also want to echo the appreciation for our hosts. Thank you. One of my top priorities is to ensure that our residents of all ages and abilities have safe, accessible, and reliable infrastructure. We accomplish that in part by ensuring that our streets are well designed and maintained with safety in mind for all users, from pedestrians and cyclists to transit riders and drivers, which is why we've been making historic investments today for a better tomorrow for all. We're here today to talk about historic funding that we have been able to include in Howard County's proposed capital spending program for fiscal year 2023. This $377.7 million plan invests more in school construction than at any time in the past 20 years. And our funding for roads and our parks are at an 8-year high. But today, I want to focus on a truly groundbreaking component that will pave the way for a better future for all of Howard County. A record $8.2 million in funding for bike lanes. And that funding is for bike lanes, sidewalks, curb ramps, and other projects to implement our county's pedestrian master plan, the bicycle master plan, and our complete streets policy. We are in a new era when the infrastructure we're designing and the funding isn't just for cars and trucks. For Howard County to reach our full potential as a vibrant, holistic, inclusive community, we must intentionally design our public spaces so they can be connected by walkers, runners, and cyclists. We do this to improve our health because we know that it's better to walk than to sit. We do this to improve our community because we know that a great way to meet your neighbors is when you're able to see them face to face. And we do this for our environment, to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, cut back on the use of internal combustion engines, and become more energy independent. Over the past 4 years, we provided $22 million toward bike and pedestrian projects, $8 million more than the previous 4 years. Since 2019, we've constructed 24 miles of new bike lanes and pathways, and we're just getting started. These investments are positively impacting our residents' daily lives. Right behind us, and you see some work going on right now, at this intersection of Guilford and Oakland Mills Road, work is almost complete. When finished, this intersection will be safer for all road users with a new traffic signal, 3,000 feet of new sidewalk, and a new bus pad and road resurfacing. So if you're driving a car, catching a bus, walking, biking, you can safely go about your day and get to where you need to go. Our work doesn't end here. Just down the street on Dobbin Road, a large commercial corridor, we're adding new sidewalks and a shared pathway to make it safer and more accessible for all. In our pedestrian master plan, Walk Howard, we have 43 projects and 17 priority connections so our community can safely walk to schools, libraries, shopping centers, and more. These improvements are great examples of projects we have and will continue to prioritize across our county to make our roadways into complete streets. Howard County is one of only 6 counties in our nation with complete streets design guidelines in place. Part of the reason we're able to make investments like these is because the fiscal responsibility we've shown since we've all taken office. Howard County has a AAA bond rating from all 3 credit agencies, putting us in the top 2% of all counties in the United States, which makes spending on infrastructure more affordable to our taxpayers. And we've built very healthy reserves, which means that 12% of our capital plan can be accomplished with one-time, pay-as-you-go funding, a responsible way to spend one-time money. And we're also able to make these innovative investments because of the tireless work of advocates who promote health and accessibility for all of Howard County. I'd like to thank all of those here today who have supported this high level of investment in our county. Thank you. The Horizon Foundation, a constant voice for providing safer bicycle and pedestrian walkways in Howard County. Thanks to advocates like Larry Schoen, whose service on the Multimodal Transportation Board has helped Howard County lead the way towards a multimodal community. And thank you to our council members, Dr. Opal Jones and Vice Chair Christiana Rigby, as well as the rest of our council, for their consistent support to make our streets safer for all. With these historic investments today, we're building the very best Howard County for all. Thank you.
So good morning. I'm Christiana Rigby, and I'm honored to serve on the Howard County Council, both as the Vice Chair and to represent District 3, where you are now. I'm so excited to join County Executive Ball, the Office of Transportation, the Spirit of DPW, as well as Horizon and the First Baptist Church of Guilford and our community members today as we announce and celebrate a historic investment in bike and ped infrastructure here in Howard County. I'd like to begin by sharing a brief story with you. Last night, the County Council unanimously approved the Patuxent Commons Affordable Housing Project in Columbia. And one of the reasons that that project is so exciting is because it specifically creates units for people with disabilities. And I had the opportunity to visit the project location a few weeks back, and when I arrived, I couldn't get across the road safely to get to the project site. There were no protected crosswalks to reach the RTA bus stop near the property, which so many residents in our community rely on. The Village Center, which is right across the street from the bus stop, is also not safely accessible. This example is not an exception. It's a reality that so many residents are facing across Howard County at different intersections and on streets in every corner of our community. This is why we're here today. Over the last 4 years, under County Executive Ball's leadership, we have invested over $20 million as a community to make our streets safer for everyone. Today, I'm thrilled that we are continuing our commitment to bicycle and pedestrian infrastructure with a proposed investment of over $8 million in the FY23 capital budget. This funding will transform the lives of Howard County residents in so many ways. The investment includes funding for the Dobbin Road pathway, which will connect residents to businesses, neighborhoods, employment, and friends across East Columbia. This investment includes funding for a transportation study on Old Skaggsville Road in Laurel, where residents are eager to bring pedestrian safety improvements to the areas that their families use. This investment also means that we'll continue to make progress on our North Laurel Connections project, which will provide residents with safe pedestrian and bicycle routes all the way from Route 1 to downtown Columbia and beyond. There are too many exciting projects to mention, so I will just end by highlighting this. County Executive Ball has committed more funding to bicycle, pedestrian, and safety infrastructure than any county executive in our county's recent history. This is a historic investment that not only reflects our county executive's vision for complete streets, but it also changes lives. I look forward to advocating for this critical funding in the coming months as the council considers the capital budget. And I'm so excited for the progress that we have all worked together to continue and make in the future. Thank you all.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Jennifer White. I'm the Senior Policy and Community Engagement Officer at the Horizon Foundation, and we are Howard County's Community Health Foundation, serving you, the largest independent Maryland health philanthropy in this state. And so we are also here to represent the Streets for All Coalition, which is made up of over 20 community partners led by Horizon Foundation, AARP Maryland, and the American Heart Association. And together, we advocate for robust investments in sidewalks, crosswalks, bike lanes, paths, bus stops, and completion of projects to improve walkability, bikeability, and accessibility in Howard County. Thank you so much, Dr. Ball, for inviting us here today to celebrate this record historic level of proposed funding for biking, walking, and complete streets projects in Howard County. And thank you for your leadership, ensuring we give our residents opportunities to be more physically active, healthy, and for your commitment to achieve our shared complete streets vision for our community. Howard County has certainly made great progress in implementing bike and pedestrian infrastructure projects and complete streets in recent years, including improvements coming soon right here to Guilford, and glad to be here today to celebrate that. In addition, it has also been a pleasure to serve on the Complete Streets implementation team, working in partnership with many of these here to ensure that we have a new design manual, which was recently adopted and will guide future planning and development to ensure all users of the road, including pedestrians, bicyclists, transit users, and individuals with mobility challenges, will be incorporated into every aspect of street and bridge design. We want everyone in Howard County, no matter who they are, where they live, or can drive and feel safely and easily and comfortably bike, walk, and take public transportation anywhere where they need to go. With this historic funding, we are getting closer and closer to achieving that goal. We look forward to the continued progress on the ground, and especially in communities with historic levels of disinvestment where the need for these types of projects are especially needed. And so we've all learned over the past few years during this pandemic, funding projects to protect and improve public health is critical. And so thank you so much to our Streets for All Coalition and every community member who has raised their voice in this process in support of bike and pedestrian infrastructure and complete streets over the years. We could not have gotten to this point without all of you, and we will need your voice moving forward and urge the County Council to fully fund these projects, and together we can make our streets, our sidewalks, paths, and bike lanes safer and more accessible across Howard County. Thank you again, Dr. Ball, and to all of you for being here today. Let's keep up the great work. Thank you.
So first I'd like to thank County Executive Dr. Ball and his staff, and particularly the staff of the Office of Transportation, all of whom work closely with the Multimodal Transportation Board that I now chair. This administration has done more than I have seen in all the years of working as an advocate to make mobility possible. And so I'd also like to thank the Horizon Foundation, all my fellow advocates, by COCO, for sustaining the vision that we share over multiple administrations. Okay? We've been here a long time. Beyond this, I have a message about transportation choices that we make in our daily lives. So like on a day like today, Mother Nature throws curveballs at us, but there are some things that we control in the infrastructure that we build. This matters deeply to me, and I'd like to convey why I believe it should matter deeply to all of us. You can find studies and surveys showing that people prefer traveling by car, and about our so-called love affair with the car. But this preference that people state reflects just the limitations of what we have built. This is called practical compulsion. In other words, something that the environment compels us to do, according to Peter Norton, a professor in the Department of Engineering and Society at the University of Virginia. Because for many of the trips, the infrastructure that we have built leaves us with no other reasonable choice than to get in a car. For many trips in Howard County, it's not safe or practical to do anything else. I do it myself. I did it today, okay? It doesn't have to be this way. We've built many homes and stores and workplaces and schools accessible only by automobile. And and we've built roads, lots of roads that so far many of which are not suitable for walking, biking, and public transport. So I'd like you and I invite you to imagine a future Howard County in which people can walk or bike safely to a grocery store and all the destinations in their neighborhood, where children have safe ways to bike to school, bus stops, all of them are sheltered, and I can take a bus rapid transit ride down in 20 minutes to a DC Metro stop. Our choices about transportation funding matter because they determine our future of mobility, sustainability, affordability, efficiency, inclusivity, equity, and health. I'm happy to advise an administration that agrees with this. I'm excited about the projects that we can get done by virtue of the proposed 2023 budget, and I ask the council to keep all of the multimodal transportation funding in this budget. We have choices about the future that we want to build. Thank you.